Um, who wants to go over what happened last time?
We walked into a murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Man has been killed. A doctor man.
Yes,
Yes,
the
but
doctor man.
He's been murdered and killed.
the
Mm-hmm.
doctor man who was going to tell us about potential back to smuggling operations turned up dead. Uh, we investigated. My investigations are in the notes.
Yeah, so you were sent, essentially given a couple of different leads to chase down some potential Bacta smuggling or Bacta stealing happening that was affecting troops on the front line. And you all landed on the Paramount, which is one of the medical frigates for the Republic. And it is a very storied and to the Republic important ship. There is only a small handful of medical frigates, full medical frigates, in the entire Armada. And it is both able to work miracles, but also, as you are all quickly discovering, the fact that it has essentially been under a decade of constantly running, constantly being out on the front line, constantly having to deal with the trials and tribulations of being a war hospital. A lot of things are slipping through the cracks. And you have gotten there. One of their chief doctors, chief surgeons, has been killed. And is the same one that you all were meant to go talk to. There were a couple of clues that you found on the body. Anybody remember what those are?
I mean, there was the list of, like, organ prices, right?
Mm-hmm. That was found in the crates in the hangar bay, a little bit away from the body.
Was there like some slime or something?
Mm-hmm.
There was something particular about the wound, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the slime belonged to, or I think it belonged to the, like, natives of the planet nearby. Is that right?
Possibly. So you all
Possibly.
found a slime on the body that you all recognized as being more than likely from some sort of amphibious species. Amphibious species tend to have a kind of slimy coating to their skin to help their skin stay hydrated when they're out of the water. So this could be any number of amphibious species. You are above a water planet or a planet that is largely water. All the land masses are kind of small, sporadic islands and archipelagos. So that was found on the body. You also discovered that the wound that seemed to be the killing wound came from just a plain knife or a plain bladed object of some sort. Not a vibro blade of any kind, not blunt force trauma, not claws, not a lot of the other things that are a little bit more common in person to person scuffles in the Star Wars setting. It's a little bit weird when you're just like, okay, this is a plain knife or a plain pair of scissors or something like that. What else have we learned? Who else have we talked to? We have to go over because Piper was not here.
We
I know
talked
we
to...
talked to. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
after you.
I was gonna say we talked to the guy in charge of the Paramount, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. You talked to the captain?
Yes.
And the Paramount is a...
It's the medical frigate.
Gotcha.
And a frigate is it's a ship.
Yes. The frigate
And
is what you
that is
see
not
on the
what
map.
we're on.
The Paramount is what you see on the map in the background of Roll20.
Okay. And that's not what we're on, right?
That is what you are on.
Okay, so we're on the Paramount.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys have landed. Your ship is currently docked with the Paramount. And the docking for the Paramount is in that long, skinny section. So there's essentially two divided sections so that one section can snap off from the other and keep patients safe and abandon the other half of the ship if they absolutely need to. It is not half of the ship is what makes you but they can abandon it if they absolutely need to. And the body was found in the docking bay. You talked to the second in command of the military end of things. You have discovered that there is a clear divide between military and the medical staff, because the medical staff are not soldiers. They are not under the direct command of any of the Republic Army, except insofar as the captain can overrule them, like the safety of the ship. They can be overruled, but the safety of or the care of patients, the doctors are in charge. So you've talked to the actual captain, the second in command of the military. You have been given a couple of names of people that might be interesting, or some information about some various people around the ship. You also have a handout of the various places that you can go on the ship to kind of narrow it down, referring where to look. And you've also been informed of a prisoner that is currently being kept on the ship that has somehow found out that there's people on the ship and claims that he might have something useful to tell all of you.
Oh yeah, there was discrepancies with the cameras too, consistently over the span of a couple of months, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. So you all went to look at the cameras to see if there was anything caught on the actual camera of the docking bay. And you've discovered that there's a period of about 3 hours maybe, that happens in a fairly routine pattern every about 3 to 4 weeks of the camera just being cut out and then turned back on. Far enough apart that the security personnel didn't really seem to notice it. They thought it was a glitch or something like that, but also routine enough that when they zoomed out and just kind of scrubbed the data all together, they saw the pattern emerge.
Okay. First question.
Mm-hmm.
Victim, were they lying in a pool of their own blood?
Yes.
Okay. So they were killed there.
Yes.
Do we know who all knew about the cut times in the cameras? Like, who would know about that routine?
The group collectively
just
just discovered it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even the officers weren't aware.
Yeah, we asked about that, and they didn't seem to have very much in the way of oversight for it.
Yeah, and to give you some
mismanaged.
to give you some context, essentially imagine the ER rooms during height of COVID. That's what this ship is like 24/7, and it has been for a decade.
Damn.
So there's a lot of mismanagement and going through the cracks, but it's also a fucking miracle that they are keeping it up and running and saving as many people as they are through all of that. So that's why the captain is annoyed and not happy about this, and there's going to have to be some answers given, but also is not necessarily surprising either. And you guys have been essentially the if I'm not mistaken, various names of people that have been thrown around are the name of the head nurse, who is in charge of getting all of the supplies for the medical side of the ship. the assistant to Dr. Xander, who's the victim. You have the cook has been mentioned as well. And I believe there is someone else. Let me double check. And also the assistant, in order to get access to Dr. Xander's files and help rearrange the load that he was supposed to do, because he is an active doctor and surgeon who is supposed to be on call right now. Essentially, he's supposed to have scheduled surgeries. Had to take Dr. Xander's keys, and so she has. You all know that she has touched the body before you all arrived.
So I'm reading Kara's notes. The wound was something that pressed down, as if he was against a wall or something.
Yes.
Is there blood on the walls?
It did not go all the way through to be able to do that.
There's no like scratch marks, anything like that.
You did see that there was some crates that had been kind of moved and shifted ever so slightly. They're fairly large, heavy crates, so it would have taken a little bit of force to do that. But as far as on the walls, there was nothing super noticeable, no.
And a lady was trying to get into those crates.
The
Order prices.
I mean, Thesme was trying to get in those crates.
I'm just reading Kira's notes. It says lady was trying to get one of the crates open.
I don't remember which lady that was. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's fine. Has anybody tried to get into Xander's like messages?
No, literally all that we have done is you have gone to, like, the group has gone to the cargo bay where they discovered the body, and then went straight up to the bridge to talk to the captain. There's been no other travel through the ship.
Okay.
You know, now that you mention it, though, that was a pretty obvious thing to do, wasn't it?
You're turning blonde, Hazel. You're not
Yeah,
gonna be
I want
Hazel.
to try and find recent communications involving Xander.
So you would have to more than likely go to his personal computer to be able to go through any messages for him.
Okay. It has been a month and a half since I've looked at the sheet.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I am sorry about that.
It's okay.
I got called into fucking overtime.
It's okay. I understand.
Z's making money.
Trying to.
So I guess I will go do that.
Okay. So, the group is currently on the bridge, has just been informed about the prisoner and the prisoner's claims. So, that is where we will officially start in character.
First rolls?
Hmm?
Or
Yes.
do we need to roll? Oh, okay.
True. Hold on. Yeah, let me... Because I forget that every time. I've been playing this game how long, and I still forget to do that. Okay, so this is... too many screens open, that's what this is. That, and I need to give like a different icon for my special DM sheet, because there's a special DM sheet that you use to control
I like hit points.
yeah, to control everything. But it still has the little no picture person face. It causes issues. I'm trying to find it. Okay.
You can make it your Z icon, your Cusco.
Could.
Lucky.
Okay, well, let's see.
Thank you, by Alexa.
Kana and Iffy. You need your first rolls. Kana.
Eesh.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
Well, that's a lot of.
Well, that was
that's...
wasted.
Okay.
Alright. So, that should be good.
I'm in sync with G.
Yes. So, you know, if Alexa wants to go look at personal computer, you know that there's been a people pointing you towards the kitchens, pointing you towards the medical bays, pointing you towards the brig. Let us get started with discussion on where we are going, so I know what I need to try and remember.
Alright, gang, let's split up and search for clues.
Fuck you.
If you want to do that, we certainly
Elma,
could.
you and Shaggy go to the prison bay.
Yeah, I think the two things I most want to see are probably the prison bay and talking to the other medical people / Xander's assistant.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely want to talk to the prisoner, but I feel like we should get more information before we go to the prisoner, so we can kind of compare and contrast any potential contradicting or similar info. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So medical staff? Question mark?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So, are you wanting to try and go after the head nurse, or are you wanting to try and head to Xander's office first? Because they'll all be roughly in the same area.
I say Xander's office. But I'm fine
Xander's
with
office
either.
would let us probably take a look at the data pad and everything too.
Yep.
Okay. So, you head towards Dr. Xander's office. This is gonna annoy me. Let me swamp this really quick. And it takes a couple minutes to get down there, because you're going essentially from the top of this ship all the way down to the bottom to try and get to where the offices are at the moment. And you see that there's a handful of military personnel when you start closer to the bridge. And the further from the bridge you get, the more the military personnel fades, and you start seeing people in scrubs walking and moving with a purpose. The military personnel are walking with a purpose, but you can very clearly tell the difference between they're usually either getting off of work, getting on to work, or patrolling. Where the nurses just seem to be pinging off the walls, going to various rooms, doing various things. You hear a lot of chatter back and forth in half dozen different languages from various doctors and nurses. None of them seem to be overly panicked at the moment, but they also are very clearly moving and talking to indicate that they don't really have a time to give a shit about any of you. As strange and out of place as some of you look, and are clearly do not belong on a medical frigate, but they are essentially ignoring your existence other than just to move around you. You do get one or two mildly curious looks from a couple of nurses, and you all quickly come to realize that word of Dr. Xander's murder may not have fully spread through the entire ship yet. Perhaps the knowledge of his death has, but there's not any worry or suspicion or concern for most of the people here. As opposed to the people you saw with the security details and the military personnel closer to the brig. Or not brig, the bridge. And you get kind of bypass a lot of the busier levels and busier hallways to wind your way down to the offices. And you know almost instantly you're on the office floor because the doors to the lift open and it's almost eerily quiet in comparison to the rest of the ship. There's 1, 2 people walking back and forth down the hallways, seeming to be ferrying notes or messages or something. But there's not the mad rush of the medical levels, nor the steady patrol of the military levels. And you go down a couple of doorways, and you see a door that is marked with Dr. Xander's name and a Dr. Phobos. They seem to be sharing the office. And you can see, even from the opposite side of the fogged glass door, there is a screens on inside, which you assume to be various computers. And there's the outline of somebody moving around. So somebody is in the office.
Let's walk in? Question mark?
Yeah, we could do that. You could see if you could get a read on them through the door.
Yeah, can we hear anything through the door?
You hear some shuffling around, like, seems like they're messing with a desk or messing with something on a desk. But you don't hear them, like, muttering to themselves or talking at all.
Does it sound frantic at all?
Not necessarily frantic, but perhaps purposeful.
Would they be within range for some sense shenanigans?
Yeah, they're not too far off.
We could do that if you'd like.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Let's see.
Roll for me. Ooh.
Hey.
Okay.
Let's see.
You write something down. Okay, so you're just reaching out through the force towards this figure on the other side, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of reach out and you can very quickly pick up this is a very kind of unguarded mind. And the person seems flustered. Not panicked, but flustered and sad. But also very, very scattered.
Could I try and get a thought, like some of his current thoughts, maybe?
Yes, let me figure out what the current thoughts would be. Trying to see if I wrote anything down on here about this person. I did.
Shout out to Pastsy.
Okay, so you just see you hear a very distinct, where the hell is it? I can't do this without that. Where did I place it? Did he move it? I don't think he did. He's just searching.
Well, I don't know what we can do on this side of the door. So,
Yeah, we can head in now.
yeah. I'll take charge, I guess, and open the door and walk in.
Okay. So you open the door, and on the other side you see a middle-aged woman. Has a doctor's coat on over the top of scrubs. And she kind of turns towards you. You can see she is wearing very thick, almost like bottle cap type glasses, the kind that when she turns in your direction and actually looks through the glasses at you, her eyes feel just a little bit uncomfortably large. Not cartoonishly, but just enough that's like, that's weird. And as you turn around, or as you come through the door and she turns around, she stands up straight where she was leaning over a desk in a drawer. And you can see that the room is laid out with two desks kind of standing across from each other in this kind of mirrored setup of office space. And she is leaning over one and stands up very quickly and kind of slams the door, the drawer that she's looking through shut. Though you're not 100% certain if it was an intentional, oh shit, somebody's coming, or if it was the kind of full motion of the standing up that slammed the drawer shut. And she kind of looks over all of you, squints slightly, and who are you?
Hello, my name is Kana. I'm here to assist with the, with Dr. Xander's death. And you are? I put my hand out to shake.
Oh, yeah. I thought I heard some murmurings about somebody coming in to help. I'm Dr. Phobos, and you see, she reaches out and shakes your hand. fairly firmly, but is just a very quick shake of the hand.
Mm.
Just kind of looks over the rest of the group. That would be Xander's desk. And she points to the other side of the room. And you see that the desk seems to be in fairly good working order. There's not a whole bunch of scattered papers or anything. There's just a nice, like, 2 nice piles and, like, little paper holders to keep them neat and in place. And you can see that the computer that is attached to the desk is on, like somebody has been on it recently, but it is flashing with the login screen. So it either somebody has been on it and turned it back off to where it logged itself out, or it has been long enough that it has logged out.
Lickety clack, I rolled to hack.
You start moving towards the computer, and like when you head towards the desk, Dr. Phobos just kind of watches and doesn't seem too perturbed, but then you start going for the computer and there's this furrow of brow. What exactly are you doing?
Just taking a look, see?
Why? There's very confidential, patient records on our servers. I don't think you're supposed to be on there. No, I don't think you should. Yeah, I don't think you should be on there.
We're not all that interested in patient records. We're just more to see what Dr. Xander was looking at recently.
Yeah,
You're worried about HIPAA? A man has been murdered.
You're not going to interfere with Jedi business, are you?
And there's another kind of the furrow of the brow gets a little bit deeper, and she just kind of like looks over all of you like fucking Jedi.
Anna puts her hand to her forehead like, oh god.
I'm absolutely willing to cash in on somebody else's privilege. With that said, I resume clickety clackety.
Well, like I said, we're not here for the patient's info.
Dr. Phobos just kind of like opens her mouth, very clearly wanting to continue arguing, is just like staring down via Alexa right now. And then closes her mouth and kind of like anxiously like licks her lips. But he was found dead in the cargo bay. Why?
We've got reason to believe there might be something of interest to us in his messages, you see.
Hey, listen, honey, if you are having an affair, none of us care. We can overlook that.
Yeah, could not care less about that. Unless it was a motive for murder, in which case it might be a little suspicious. But no, girl, you get whatever tail you want.
What I mean to say is the only personal matters that really interest us here are those that relate to the murder. Anything else, we didn't see nothing.
Her eyes get huge at the like implication of her and Xander, presumably, and she just shakes her head very quickly. Oh, no. Workplace romance is a bad idea. And she's like closing her eyes while she is saying that very pointedly, like hands pressed together in praying motion, but like gesturing with them.
Good idea. But a fine idea.
Ismay nods.
Her eyes
You don't have
open
to
and she
listen
looks
to her comments.
a little concerned.
Wait, now, if you don't excuse me, I'm gonna go do exactly what I was about to do.
Is there a way I can assist Piper with the hacking?
I think I got it.
I mean,
Okay.
you can help if you would like to give her a blue die.
Hey, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
get that free
If you want
boost
to cheer me
die.
on, yes, if you want to cheer me on, go for it.
Yeah, I'll give you a blue die.
So you both head over to the computer, and Marcy, you're kind of looking at the computer, and you know a thing or two, and kind of try to helpfully point out, you maybe you want to bypass it through here, and you already see Vilex is already clicking on it halfway through the sentence, but you're trying your best. Vilexa,
Yeah.
roll a computers check with 3 purple and a blue.
Would bypass security or code break affect either of these?
Bypass security might. Could you read that out for me, just so I can remember it?
Remove black from rank of. Well, I guess there's not a black, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, never mind. All right. So you said 3 purple.
Yes.
3 purple.
And a blue.
Okay. I'm remembering how to do this. Cha.
Okay.
It all cancels out.
So many die.
So you essentially get through figure out how to log into it, but you can see that once you get logged into the computer and it comes to the home screen, you can click on a couple of things, but it's like opening a Word document or a note document, but the most important things all seem to be behind another level of password locked security. So actually encrypted files and password locked files, and programs that you need additional login information for. You can try to go looking and see if you can find any idea of how to, where if he's written out a password or something like that, or you can try to brute force it if you would like to try to force your way through. However, if you fuck up something that is networked, that is important for the medical side of things, you can end up getting in a lot of trouble.
Dr. Phobos is still in the room, right?
Yeah.
These men will get very close, probably too close for comfort, and be like, "Oh, would you help us find some messages?"
Just see Dr. Phobos kind of draw herself up to as full a height as she can manage. She's an average height woman, and just kind of pull her arms a little bit closer to herself, trying to give herself as much space away from you without stepping back, holding her ground. And she just looks you head to toe. And you can try to roll. Let me remember the exact words for these skills again. Have to do it every time we play. You can roll. I'm assuming charm is what you're going for.
Yeah, I would say either charm or negotiation. Charm probably is more accurate.
Yeah, you're not negotiating for. You got nothing she wants.
I mean,
look
at me, but charm. Okay. Just straight roll or?
It will be opposed. Let me see what her stats are, because I do have those saved. All right, the opposed roll for her would be 1 purple and 2 red.
What?
She has some ranks.
Okay.
This is not a moment where the
Um,
red necessarily means danger. This is a moment because it's an opposed roll. It means that she has ranks in that stat, the opposed stat.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will, in that case, with Congenial, I will suffer 1 strain to downgrade the difficulty of my charm check.
Okay, so that'd be 2
So
purple and a red.
Wait, what?
Down-
Didn't that get worse?
No, downgrading from red to purple.
Oh, okay. So 2 purple and a red is what you
Mhm.
said.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's roll now. 2 purple and a red.
Same number of die, just the smaller die is what you're getting.
Was it worse?
Yeah, you still successfully managed to do what you're wanting to do. So you're just like, can you help us, correct?
I mean, yeah, essentially, like, I want her to get through the next layer of passwords or protocols.
She just kind of stares at you for a second, and then the eyes slowly drift over to Vialexa and consider her, because she's the one behind the computer. And there's just this little, like, sigh, and, like, she reaches her hand up and just pinches the bridge of her nose under her glasses. You see them lift. And for a brief moment, it's her eyebrows that are now uncomfortably large on her face before her glasses fall back into place. It's just I don't know for sure because we keep our passwords private, as intelligent people do. She says that very pointedly, looking between the two of you. But try. I don't know if it'll unlock anything per se, but you can try using KASS, KASS, in the password somehow.
Thank you. And Peasmay will, like, touch her nose, like a little boop.
You just get this, like, bzzz. It's like flapping of hands to get you away. Looks towards Kana, because Kana is apparently the level-headed one of the group. And just... Do you need me for anything?
I do have a couple of questions, if you have the time.
And she's like, glances towards her computer, which is also lit up, looking at the time. If you do it quickly, I do need to be in surgery here shortly, but shouldn't be on the table yet.
I'll be as quick as possible. How well did you know Dr. Sander?
Well, I guess were would be the appropriate word here. We were very close friends. We have been serving on this ship for 8 years now, sharing an office.
Is that all you shared?
I give a glare.
This slow look, and she, like, actually lowers her head to look over the brim of her glasses. And there's the flusteredness is gone for a moment, and there's just a very firm yes.
In response to Kana's glare, Peasmay's gonna kind of just, like, back away a little bit.
Sorry. So, how long has the Paramount been a thing, I guess? Because you said it was, like, one of the, if not the oldest.
Yeah, it has been... It was made before the war, but it was the first medical frigate to be sent out when the war started.
Okay.
So it is around a decade, a little bit over a decade at this point.
Oh, so you both have been here since nearly the beginning.
There's just this, like, pushing her nose, or like her glasses back up her nose and turning away from Thesme back towards Kana with this very slow nod. Yes, from the beginning, nearly, and through all of the chaos and trials and tribulations of being on one of these vessels, but it's where we are best serving right now.
Your efforts are greatly appreciated. To you and all the other doctors.
Just
But,
get this, like, little wave of the hand at that. Kind of dismissing the things.
what... Have you known Dr. Xander to be involved in anything shady or not on the up and up?
Xander. Not that I am aware of. Xander is been on this vessel as long as I have, has worked tirelessly as any of the doctors here would. There's... Why? What?
Are
that be a
you
question?
involved with anything illicit?
So, did either of you have money troubles?
There is... The more you talk, Thesme, the less flustered and the more offended Dr. Phobos looks. She looks at you and then looks at Vialexa, and you can see the very clear kind of pulling up and puffing out of, like, embodying the doctor, the surgeon, coming over her. I swore an oath to look after people. I would not make a profit off of any of the people here for anything.
So, just to make clear, Xander had the list of prices of organs, right?
It was not
It
found
was-
on his body. It was found on a
Right.
stack of crates that seemed to have been potentially shifted around in whatever scuffle had occurred.
Yeah, and
Was
Dr.
near
Xander...
him.
And also Dr. Xander was, like, the one who was the informant of, like, hey, shady shit's going down.
Yeah, he
Come
was
here so we can actually talk about it.
he was
I
an
don't wanna-
informant to Lissy, who then gave the data of his, like, contact information over to Iffy if she wanted to chase the lead.
If he will clear her throat and stand a little taller herself, not in an intimidating way, but just sort of because she can't help herself. Doc, you gotta forgive my crew here. We're just asking some routine questions. But, I think we do have some that are particularly well suited for a woman of your skill set.
Some questions is what you're implying?
Yeah, questions.
And she's like, the offended look, she, like, tries very hard to school it as she looks towards you, Iffy. It's very clear that she is trying not to carry over her annoyance to the people that are not annoying her. And she takes a moment, and you see her, like, kind of blinking, and then she slowly nods. And what would those questions be?
Oh, I got a couple medical questions. You see, some of this stuff came up, and I don't know very much about it. Surgery on Hapes, it's not something we like doing. We don't like modifying our bodies very much. But, firstly, would you happen to know, there's plenty of organ transplants and whatnot done here, right? Would you happen to know anything about where those maybe come from?
Well, most of the, if we're lucky, most of them come from donations and a few admittedly experimental growth practices. We have a small stock of some of the most common organs that we are able to keep preserved for a period. The rest come from, well, unfortunately, soldiers that we are not able to save, that have given permission when they signed up.
Let's say you were gonna charge for a kidney. About how much would a kidney cost?
What we mean
The business look on her face drops completely and just turns this ice cold and looks towards Thesme. I don't think that having me here is helping anybody right now.
Wait. Doc. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. How's about we let the tech people over here, we let them do the tech stuff, and you and I have a little chat outside. Just take a little breather, right?
I want to be a little shit, but I'm not gonna. Just this once for you. If it,
Thank you.
I'll stay in here to make sure they don't open any files they shouldn't.
we don't need a babysitter, Bubblegum. We're professionals.
Right.
You see Dr. Phobos is puffed out, 100% truly offended, but looks toward you, Effie, and you see just that tightness in her jaw, and she just snatches her ID off the top of the table and picks up a file out of her comparatively much more messy desk, picks up a file off the top of it, or a data pad of a file, and tucks it under her arm and just marches towards the door.
Walk and talk. We could do a walk and talk. I love those. I love getting my steps in.
She also has a computer on her desk, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Who's next?
When she
Yeah,
leaves,
hers is next for sure. Yeah.
Thesme is gonna like point to Marcy and then the computer like, let's go.
Okay. So, let's finish with Dr. Phobos so I can send her on the way, and then we will circle back to Vialexa and Mercy. Okay?
Right.
So, you're following Dr. Phobos. She marches out of the room and then essentially turns to the longer end of the hallway, the lift at the other end of it, and slows down so that you can ask whatever questions, but it's very clearly she has been offended enough that the questions will end when you hit the lift. She is going about her job.
Gotta say, Doc, I really appreciate you taking this time. I know that we didn't get off to a great start there, but I promise you, we're trying our best to find out what happened to your friend. At the end of the day, that's what's most important to us. You can rest assured, our goals are to get as many people as possible in as good a state as possible.
I would hope so, especially if you are traveling with a Jedi. But you have to know that I would never do anything that was suggested in that room, and I don't think Dr. Xander would either.
Oh, funny fact about that. Dr. Xander was actually, I think, trying to tip us off to something amiss that was happening on the ship itself. That's how good a fella he was. That's the whole reason that we came here in the first place.
And there's just this kind of like quizzical look in your direction.
Now, you see, Doc, I'm sure a woman of your stature deals with surgeries day in, day out. You know how hard it is to get your hands on certain resources now, don't you? Maybe some healing resources.
And she just kind of tilts her head to the side. Well, I mean, getting any type of medical supplies this far out and near the front lines is always an issue. There's been some shortages of some of the more common medicines and Bacta and some of the artificial skins and such that we use.
Now, we suspect. Now, it wasn't that you guys was involved in nothing. We suspect that somebody on this ship is either smuggling those supplies out of here, or maybe doing something a little unsavory. It's my thinking that maybe Xander caught on to some of that, because we got a, a tip. He might know something about back to smuggling operation. Real hush-hush like. That's why we're here. And then we turn up and he's dead. Now, ain't that strange? Seems to me like he might have known something he shouldn't have.
And you can see and hear she takes this like sharp little short breath, and she nods slowly. I mean, suppose he was keeping a much closer eye on a few things than he normally would. He seemed to be pestering the head nurse a little bit more, but I figured he was anxious about making sure that he had all the supplies he needed.
I'm sure he was trying to make sure everybody had the supplies they needed. So, now, my question about organs earlier, the reason I brought it up is he was killed in the cargo bay, right? In a crate nearby, somebody had tried to get into it. We found a list of organs and potential prices for them. That's what my associate was getting at, you see. So, we're trying to figure out just who on this ship is trying to smuggle organs out of it.
And there's a slow nod. Suppose that some of the surplus organs may have gone missing without anybody's notice. They're so chaotic, and so many of them do end up having to be turned over or used for other things. I have not been looking or paying enough attention to hear anything about any of that. But if you want my opinion and where to look, the people that would know all of what's coming in and out, at least in the medical side, would be the head nurse. She would know if we were short, potentially. And if not her, there's a handful of pilots for some of our transports that tend to be... Well, they tend to be the ones that help bring cargo in and out, so... At least when they're not transporting actual patients. So they may have something, but I'm just here to do my job.
We appreciate you for doing your job and for giving us this little bit of intel. Now, the last two questions I got for you, purely medical. Nice, easy, low gravity grav ball. You play grav ball? You like grav ball?
There's this small smile. I have dabbled when I was in university.
I knew it. I knew it. You had that energy about you.
She just kind of, there's this small laugh.
All right, Doc. last two questions I got for you. Unfortunately, they do have to do with the nature of Xander's death. Is that going to be all right with you?
She's gotten fairly close to the lift, but she kind of stops, and you see her kind of pull her shoulders back and just a careful nod. Well, if it helps figure out who did this to him, happy to help.
So, can I spend a light side point here to say that we have like a photo or something, maybe like a zoomed in photo of the wound?
Sure.
All right, I will use light side. If he pulls out the data pad that she totally took a photo with and zooms in such that there's no, shall we say, harmful details, it's just the wound itself.
Mm-hmm.
And she holds that out. So, we noticed that this looks like it was done with like just a regular bladed weapon, and the angle was kind of weird. Is there anything maybe you could tell us about this? Maybe something we're missing?
She takes the data pad, kind of looks at it. You can see her zooming in a little bit closer and head tilting one way and the other as if she's trying to imagine it in 3D almost. And she frowns slightly. Well, I can't tell you exactly how. I can't tell you exactly what this weapon would be, but it's clear it's a plain blade. It's considering the fact that there's the blood stain, I don't think it would be overly large. So something a little bit more utility, perhaps. You know, chef's knife, maybe. Might fit the size or something very close.
I suppose that's one of the only places where we don't use vibro nothing.
And she nods. I mean, there's some. I've seen some of the boys on the ground carry plain knives as emergency. They're a little bit safer to keep in your boot. At least that's what they tell me. But most all of them end up being either much smaller in width or much longer, and this seems to be, I would say, a kitchen knife of some sort would probably be your best bet.
Nice. Thank you, Doc. All right, last one, nice and easy. So we found this slime around him, right? Would you happen to zoom in on slime? Does that look familiar to you at all?
She looks at it, and there's just like this one-shouldered shrug. I would bet it's an amphibious slime of some sort. You're looking for either, more than likely, somebody that was in close contact with him fairly soon to when this happened. That's from a water-dominated planet. There's a handful of patients that have come in from the planet below, natives that would be able to do this, but they're all going to be fairly confined. None of the ones that at least I know of have recently come in would be up and moving. There's a handful of amphibious crew members. 2 or 3 in the military wing. There's a nurse, and our chef, both of which are Mon-Cal. Other than that, without actually having the slime and being able to run it through chemical analysis, which would take far longer than I think you would actually care to do, I can't really pinpoint the species, unfortunately.
Well, you've already given us plenty to work with. Now, I know you gotta go. So I just want to say, my name's Iffy Fell. I'm one of the Hapen ambassadors. If you have any questions about this, you can just hit me up. I'll be happy to answer. Thank you again for your time.
And she hands you back the data pad with this little nod. I do truly hope that you figure out what has happened. Dr. Sanders' a loss that the Paramount is going to feel.
I didn't know him very well, but he seemed a great gent. But don't worry. If anybody knows anything about murders, it's Haven's.
And there's this, like, kind of bemused smile caught between, that's funny, but also, am I allowed to laugh at that? And so, like, there's just, like, this kind of conflicted, like, half smile, and she nods and turns and heads to the lift, and you just see her already flipping on this data pad as the door is closing.
If you will, like, head back to the rest of them.
Okay, so while Iffy was out in the hallway, Vilexa, what exactly are you doing now? You were given a couple of options of what you could try to do, and a hint of something that might be used as a password.
Yes, there's the cast, and also Thesme is trying to get Marcy to look at the other computer.
Circle back to that in a minute, but Vilexa has been digging at the
I
computer
will
for
try
a few
out
minutes.
the hint.
Okay, you will try out the hint. So you can make a computer's check at 2 purple with the hint.
Okay. Purple. Purple. Gotta go on 2 computers.
Okay, roll me 1 more purple.
Oh, I exited it twice, my bad. Restart.
Okay, so that will cancel out 1 of the successes, but you still have 2 successes. And just make sure you clear your dice pool for next time.
Yes.
So, as you're kind of poking and prodding at this system, not wanting to brute force and, trigger any particular alarms, you find that this Cass name is actually being used in at least Dr. Xander's personal files on the computer. It's not seeming to help you get into any of the networked things, the actual medical programs and such, but it gets you into a couple of his folders on the computer and into his email, it looks like. And as you're kind of scrubbing through the email, most of it seems to be back and forth with other doctors, with specialists across the galaxy. A couple of things back and forth with the captain, even. You see that, seemingly backing up with what Dr. Phobos said, that there's occasional just like funny ha-ha look at this cute picture emails back and forth between Dr. Phobos and Dr. Xander, seemingly all happening at just weird ass hours randomly. One at 2 a.m., one at 5 a.m., like 3 days later, one at noon, a couple days later. So you could see them working around the clock, essentially. There, at least from an initial search, doesn't seem to be anything in his emails that particularly stands out. If you want to try and see if there's anything hidden a little bit deeper or any data traces, you can. As far as personal folders, you see a kind of tracking of a couple of patients not enough information on any of the forms or any of the documents to clue you in on exactly what's going on with the patient or who it is, but some seemingly very ill patients, very sick patients. You see that Dr. Xander seems to have been writing a couple of research papers and some medical papers. You see them halfway finished on his drive. You see a 2 or 3 sets of just dates and times. And you see a encoded astrogation chart that would have to be fully decrypted in order to see exactly what it is, but you know enough of the base code and the base file size and shape to know that it is an astrogation chart.
A date, times, and an astrogation chart.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, this might be something.
All right. So, Marcy and Thesme. Marcy, are you actually going to go and try and hack Dr. Phobos' computer like Thesme is wanting you to?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Let's see.
Okay, so it will be computers at 3 purple because she is also
Okay.
completely logged out.
Let's see. Clear.
Do you guys really need to do that? Doesn't seem like Dr. Phobos is involved.
Don't they teach you nothing at your Jedi investigation school? Doubt everything.
Computers. There you are.
He seemed highly defensive.
Yeah, your questions were highly offensive.
A man
think
has
they're
been
that
murdered.
Yeah, I don't think they were that offensive. I think
Uh-oh.
you're just being
So-
sensitive.
You go digging.
I broke it.
Yeah, you go trying to get into her computer, and like you tried to do almost exactly what Vialexa did, but you missed something somewhere, and you just get like the flash of like login failed, and you try again and login failed, and then you get that nice big red warning of like one attempt left, or you're gonna be locked out.
Does it also spray water in my face? Like, bad.
No, not this one. Maybe in the future there'll be a little pokey robot that'll pop out.
Not feeling confident. I'm not sure what to do next.
Yeah, Thesme, you're standing behind Marcy, so you also see this flashing sign on the login screen of like one attempt left.
Hang
Did
on,
we
I'm almost
try
done.
Cass?
How about a physical search?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so Marcy, you're going through Phobos' desk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anna will as well.
Also looking at Phobos' or looking at Xander's?
She'll look at, just do a quick view of Phobos's,
Okay.
since she was looking for something in particular.
So the two of you will need to make skullduggery checks at
Right.
3 purple. Because you're trying to look for hidden stuff amongst a whole bunch of stuff that neither of you understand, because it's all medical paperwork, it looks like, at least on the top.
All right. Got a success.
Alright. And one from you
Skullduggery.
as well, Kana.
Looking for skullduggery. There it is.
Nope.
Were there... Never mind.
So as the two of you start kind of poking around the desk, you see that all the mess that is on top very much seems to just be stacks of paper and data pads and notes about current cases that Dr. Phobos is dealing with, or recent cases that Phobos has just not done the paperwork for. Is getting very much the impression of a very skilled doctor and surgeon who is extremely scatterbrained once they leave the surgery suite. You do notice, however, that the locked drawer that seems to just be a standard drawer that you can make an additional skullduggery check to try and unlock if you want to try and pick it.
Anyone else better at skullduggery? Because Connor sure as hell isn't.
The criminals.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thisme is pretty gifted at skullduggery. I don't know if there's a way that
the,
Thisme can.
the two actual criminals and the pseudo criminal that's leading this merry band.
If he
I don't
does
know.
have a rake in it.
I don't know. Can Thisme aid Kana in some way by giving her sneaky tricks of like, hey, did you try
I mean,
this?
if
Hey,
Kana points
Thisme.
out the
Yeah,
locked drawer.
I'm gonna say, hey, these mate, you wanna sneak around and do something? Can you open that?
So would that be Thisme helping, or would it be
That would be Thisme rolling by herself.
okay? And what was the roll?
3.
3 purple.
Yes.
Purple is not setback, right? Setback is black.
Yes.
Okay. Purple is difficulty.
Yep.
Yes.
Red is
Um,
challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at all of my things. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get more black die when it's in the middle of, like, if you're trying to be sneaky about something and not be noticed, if you're doing it under pressure, you're doing it in, like, not ideal situations. That's when black die come in, and that's when the abilities help you out.
Well, huzzah.
There you go. So you go, like, kneel down and start trying to pick this drawer open. And it takes a moment, but it's not an overly complicated drawer. It's just kind of the standard issue desk that has a lock in it. And you pull out this drawer and you see inside that there's like 3, 4 very messy files inside. And you also see a little, seems like personal box of some sort, a little wooden box with like a little latch on it. It's not locked or anything, but a little wooden box inside.
Let's go through that paperwork, yeah?
So
Anna,
you,
you're becoming corrupted.
you
I
just
mean,
want
yeah,
to shuffle through the paperwork?
Yeah.
Thisme would immediately hand that to Kana.
It looks very much like everything that's on her desk. It is
Okay.
95% medical paperwork with a couple of like printed out or like on view screen type messages or notes, or there's a handful of seemingly personal messages and notes back and forth, but none of them are surprising, and most of them seem to be work related.
Okay, yeah. Kana's looking for more personal stuff, so if it's just patient documents, I don't think those are of importance. Because she said she would try and stay out of patient information, so.
Mm-hmm. Did you say you wanted to do something else, Cody?
That was it. Just like help me get into that cabinet.
You guys can check out the box.
Unless I
Yeah.
was gonna say like the box is separate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it weren't like immediate files that like these may would immediately turn over to Kana, like these may would like appear inside the box.
Just pick up the box, and it's the size of like a good like printer paper kind of, about 4 or 5 inches tall. And you open it up, and you see that it's just full of essentially pictures and hollow images of Dr. Phobos and various people. You see Dr. Phobos looking very young, seemingly a like I just got into university picture. You see something that seems to imply like first time in the hospital, first rounds. You see a handful of pictures of Dr. Phobos at various medical institutions, with friends, with people that you see often enough, like, okay, that must be family of some sort. And you see a handful of pictures of Dr. Phobos with various people on the Paramount, including Dr. Xander. And there is actually a photo that you would recognize as being taken at a kind of fancy, one of the less shady, a little bit more touristy casinos on Nar Shaddaa. And it's Dr. Xander, Dr. Phobos, looks like another doctor, and a couple of what looks like probably +1s for each of them. And you see that there's a fairly pretty a fairly tall redheaded woman sitting next to Dr. Xander. And you flip through another couple of pictures, and you see that there's another instance of Dr. Phobos out with Dr. Xander and this redheaded woman included within the group next to Dr. Xander. As you keep flipping, you see about 4 or 5. And judging by the images, it would appear that Dr. Xander and Dr. Phobos are roughly the same age, so these are probably more recent.
So even though she would say this like somewhat under her breath, everyone in the room would hear it. Like these May's just gonna say like, "Oh my God, it's a fraternity of organ smugglers."
What?
Excuse me?
Immediately
they're all
hands
in
over
on
the
it?
photographs.
They're friends.
Or accomplices.
Kana gives a slight what the fuck look. Do you actually believe that?
I don't know what I believe. All I know is that other doctor was very defensive when I asked some very simple questions.
And right about now would be when Iffy would come back into the room.
Oh boy. Putting that one back together was a bit of work. What'd you guys find?
Here, look at these.
Deep times in an astrogation chart. Don't know what the doctor's doing with those.
Astrogation chart. If he says, as she accepts the photos being handed to her, I'm guessing.
Look at this smut.
Smart! If his eyebrows raise, and then she looks at the photos, she is clearly distracted for a moment when she does look at those photos. But can I do like streetwise or anything to see if I know anything about this?
About the photos?
Yeah.
Sure. Give me a
Does
streetwise.
everyone recognize the casino, or was that a Thesme specific?
That was a Thesme specific.
Okay.
So I mean,
With that,
well, Thesme, Vialexa, if Vialexa looked at him, would probably also recognize. And do you have ranks in underworld knowledge, Iffy?
I should. I don't.
I'll be
It's
kind
not a
and say
class skill.
if
That's why.
he would recognize it as a Nar Shaddaa casino, maybe not being able to specifically place it, but as a Nar Shaddaa casino.
Thank you for your mercy.
well, I would just say that like Thesme would also be like, oh, you know that Nar Shaddaa casino? Like, look at that picture.
I remember that place.
You guys should take me sometime. They got broads like this over there.
But he'll take you wherever you want to go.
They pay pretty well, so I could dance there again.
If he turns and then looks back down at the photo. Huh. Well, that is interesting, isn't it? What are they doing in a casino like that? Especially all this many times.
Well, that particular casino picture, there's only one of them at the casino. It's just the grouping seems to be a repeating pattern at various places.
Hmm. Huh. Do we know if Xander was married? Is this his wife?
You have seen nothing that would suggest that he is married thus far.
Well, we can't take this. If he takes out her hollow and takes a photo of it. But we can take photos. Alright, let's try and get this joint as clean as we can. If she comes back and sees we went through her stuff, I am never going to hear the end of it.
Are you wanting to do anything else, Vialexa? So you're still over at the computer for Xander.
Do you guys think Phobos' computer is worth the crack? Because I can take a crack at it, but it might not be.
I think we'd be better off looking more at Xander's stuff.
Yeah.
See if there's any physical.
Yeah, I can dig back into Xander's stuff then. Like, we must dig deeper.
Thesme is
What do you
gonna try to discreetly tuck away the photographs and put the wooden box back where she found it.
If he would stop you if she saw you doing that.
So
I'm
Connor,
trying to do it in a way that no one notices.
It can
Fair.
be a contested check if you two would like. That's up to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I'll see here. Since you are the one that is trying to do shit, you will be rolling, Cody. So it is on your
Okay.
luck. So it is going to be... Let me pull this up again so that I can see the actual skill breakdown. It is going to be your skullduggery versus Iffy's perception. So what is your perception, Iffy?
I was really hoping you would say vigilance. I just have
Actually-
3.
Vigilance is actually fair for this one.
I've got a yellow and a green, so.
Yellow and a green in vigilance.
Mhm.
So it will be a purple and a red against your skullduggery.
Purple and a red? Fuck. Okay, let me see. Skullduggery. And they have setbacks. Okay, so a purple and a red.
Hannah's
do have-
also keeping her eyes out, just pointing that out.
You might have to make two then.
Okay. Well, here goes the first one. I assume
Yeah. You get past
I
Iffy.
hoodwinked Iffy.
What is your vigilance? Kana?
Yellow and 3 green.
Ooh, 3 purple and a red.
Oh god.
Much more of a challenge for the 4 green.
So that means you're not watching via Alexa, right?
I mean, technically.
Technically,
So,
she's just keeping an eye
Kana
out on these fucking.
does see Thisme.
So, I kind of imagine like Theseus trying to like put it in like a back pocket. Kana just walks by, pulls it out of her back pocket, and puts it in the box with a disapproving look.
You don't think that's evidence?
Oh no, she
Who is
doesn't
this-
care. She looks trustworthy, so it doesn't matter.
Who is this
If he
large
just-
redhead?
if he just took copies of these pictures.
But I think that the hard copies are just as important.
Well, we know where they are if we need to get them again.
Yeah, you're not
Reluctant
gonna have any
sigh.
fun on the Jedi, does he?
Thisme will reluctantly just like let the box go and let Kana put the box away.
Okay. So, now that Thisme shenanigans have been halted for the moment by
For
Alexa,
Yes.
what are you doing?
I guess I am attempting to go deeper.
Okay, so you're wanting to try and get into the medical programs you've not been able to, or are you wanting to try and hash
Deeper
out
into
more about the
personnel
astrogation
files.
chart?
Yeah. Astrogation shit.
Okay, it's one or the other.
Astrogation shit.
Okay. So, I will need you to... First, to try and decrypt them is going to be a computers check at 3 purple. And then, should you succeed, there'll be an astrogation check for anybody that wants to look at it to see if you can figure out what it is. Okay. So, you start decrypting this astrogation chart, and it takes a minute. It's clear that either the program that was used to encrypt it is very good, very expensive probably, or Xander or somebody that Xander knew was very good at this. So there is clearly some importance to this document other than beyond just like a standard like I just don't want people knowing where I'm going type thing. There's weight to this astrogation chart. So it takes you a couple of minutes, and it's just a little bit longer than you necessarily want it to, kind of annoying. But you manage to fully decrypt it, and you're able to pull up into a hollow imager on the desk a full astrogation chart for everybody to see. Anybody that wants to come over and look at it in more detail can make an astrogation check at 3 purple.
All right. Marcy will. Astrogation.
No,
Huh.
Marcy.
I'm not doing well today.
What the hell? I'll have Iffy take a try at it. Give it the old college try.
Even if your astrogation and stuff is not good, you always can try with the system because there are blank sides to the die.
Hey, you got it.
I got it.
Via Alexa, you're looking at it and you can't quite tell what all of it is, but you do see a couple of spots that, like, so that's some of the major worlds in the systems near here, and you're pretty sure one of them is a asteroid that has a reputation for being like a smuggler's landing place, but it's not necessarily a smuggler's landing place. It's kind of where the drifters of the galaxy have landed as a place to refuel and restock that smugglers tend to frequent. Iffy, you're a little bit more used to seeing larger maps of Republic space and discussions about it, and you realize that this is marking places in the galaxy that have major medical facilities, like not just like clinics, but full-on major hospitals that would be able to do a lot of things, and places that are known to be able to do potentially very complicated off-market procedures.
I will relay this to the group. You know, I got a hunch. Hi Alexa, is there a surgery schedule on there?
Might be the list of date and times. She pulls that up for her.
Well, I'd say that there is a surgery schedule that you would be able to just access really easily as just like a note on the computer that it's clear that like Xander has been updating on and off. It's like one of like just like the notes, like sticky notes you put on a home screen so that he always sees his schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here you go.
If he takes a look at it, I want to confirm if Phobos actually does have a surgery now, but also if there's anything I can glean from the schedule.
So, this is Xander's computer.
Mm-hmm.
So it does not directly have Phobos' specific schedule.
Mm-hmm.
However, you do see that Xander should be in a surgery in like 15 minutes.
Aww.
So there is a possibility that that is what Phobos was complaining about and trying to look for.
Can we find that patient's information anywhere in here?
You would have to, Vilexa would have to hack into the full medical system for the frigate.
Alright, that might be a bit much just to confirm a story.
Just go up to the surgery ward and ask if she's in surgery right now.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We need to talk to the head nurse anyway.
I mean, if you want me to break into the medical registry, you just say
the head
word.
nurse is Seaman Hella sus, and if she's
Super
a tall redhead, I have lots of questions.
Is it just
I do
because she's a
too.
redhead, does he?
Alright. Let's get this as clean as we can get it, and let's head on over to talk to that head nurse.
Alright.
Alright, so you guys try to set the room back as close to as you found it as possible. And leave the offices, heading up towards the actual medical bays and surgery suites, a level or two above you. And here we'll take a quick 10-minute break because I have dinner that I have not eaten that I would like to eat.
Please sustain yourself.
Enjoy.
Who doesn't eat during the game?
The person
take
that's
a
talking
munch.
the entire fucking time.
Just
Yeah,
munch,
the
say a few
DM.
words. Munch, say a few words.
If you're running the game, it's really difficult.
How dare you
I
take
don't know
those
what you're
fucking
talking about.
pictures from me?
Why do we need to steal them? We have copies.
Copies are never as good as the original.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need them?
She just wants to be a wet blanket, Desi.
Why don't we need them is a better question.
How does
Actually,
having
she's got a point.
these images help us with this case?
I mean, lots of reasons: evidence, blackmail. The list goes
Or
on and on.
blackmailing to obtain evidence.
See, there's another one. Great point.
Thank you, Desi. You had a great point too.
Oh, thank you. Counterpoint.
I don't think we'll need more than copies to have this kind of proof.
That
you can
limited
use
Jedi mindset.
You can also use copies as blackmail if you're so inclined.
But you see, copies can be claimed to be altered or forged. whereas
Exactly.
hard copies are undeniable proof.
Ah, you
Well,
get me.
It's not like we can't come back into this office.
Might be harder if she's back here.
And also, if she notices that we've seen it, what if she destroys the hard copies?
She could be
Mhm.
marching into a server room right now to destroy evidence.
Correct.
They're in a box.
Yeah.
They're-
Well, she could
in
burn
a
the box. Again, she was very defensive, this Dr. Phobos. Like, and I'm not saying she did it, but I'm not saying she didn't. You know,
We're asking highly inappropriate questions.
were they? I feel like they were very
We're
appropriate.
doing detective work, Bubblegum. And just so we're clear, just because I said that we were on Jedi business, we don't take orders from you.
I never said you had to.
And stop acting like it.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know. Without Lissy actually here, Kana is a how do I want to put this? At least a point of reference. But point of references can be wrong.
In this case, I say it's entirely wrong.
Time will tell.
Yeah, true enough. I really want to get drunk after this. Let's go find a cantina once we're done with this.
I
missed-
love that idea.
You missed that portion of the review. Is that there was 2 leads. This one seemed to be the more time sensitive one, so that's why this one got chased. Dr. Xander got chased down first. You'll be going to a casino next.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, I decided on Iffy's embarrassing screen name.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
please, no. I want
what
to
is
like hack
it?
your emails and
So-
discover it.
So we decided that Iffy does make money on the side gambling. Really into that, which reminds me I need to mark down my money for this session. But I think I'm gonna go with like X lady, X killer, X in alternating caps.
Wait, what is it?
X lady, X killer, X like lady killer.
Can I please like hack your information and discover that?
You're
See,
welcome. You're welcome to if you want.
I really just want to taunt you about that.
If you were there, would this be an appropriate time for These May to make a bathroom break?
That's why we've been on break for the past several minutes. You guys just been kept going. I've been
No,
eating.
I think she means
Oh.
I mean, a bathroom tap nose break.
You can try, but that's going to require some rolling for shit, and I'm not.
I'll wait then.
Yeah. Let me eat my damn curry in peace for like 5 minutes, y'all.
Enjoy yourself.
say curry.
I love curry.
I want curry.
Is it Indian curry or Thai curry? Or a different kind of curry?
Closer to Thai, but it was really just whatever I could throw together. Because you forget, I don't generally buy, because I have all the recipes, so I generally make my curry and Indian and Thai food myself.
I need to learn how to make Thai curry.
My struggle is that there's not a good Indian market here. There was in Atlanta. So I'm running dry on some supplies.
Like garam masala.
Mm-hmm. I just used it all for this meal.
Ah,
And I don't think any of the stores here have it.
Sure, you can just go to the internet and buy anything.
Yeah, but it ends up being more expensive. It's like, that's the joy of, like, living near a market that caters to the particular culture that you're cooking in. Because it's like, again, 2 pounds of a spice for like $5. Not have to buy any for years. I had a giant thing of turmeric that I'm just now almost using up, but you can get turmeric usually. But they're all small, expensive for small. My giant thing of turmeric I got for $2, and it has lasted me for 4 years? 4 years, I think. I think Kira said that she was going to be right back. The person I heard disappear.
maybe? I thought I heard Iris say BRB.
One of them. Hey, window.
Hello again.
Hello. Mm. Let's see. Nope, not finding any of that. Okay, so I am here. I heard a Kira. Do I have a Piper and an Iris?
Oh,
I am here.
Do I have an Indian?
Okay.
Do I have a Cody?
I am here.
Okay. We'll jump back into it for a little bit longer. So, you all are heading from the offices up towards the active medical floors, essentially. May, you are wanting to ditch off and find a restroom to use?
Yeah. I need a bathroom break.
It's fairly easy.
You want me to go with you, Desi?
If you want,
As
but
you girl talk?
we can definitely do that.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So these two knuckleheads just immediately turn and dip towards the bathroom. Do you guys continue on, or is everybody stopping for the bathroom break?
He's fine with waiting.
Yeah, waiting is fine.
So, May and Vialexa, two of you head to a lavatory, and you see that it's again an active ship. There's a handful of nurses that are inside, going about their business, freshening up, all that good shit. They just kind of look at you kind of curiously as both of you enter. And there's a little bit of murmuring, because neither of you are dressed anything like what you should be to be on the medical floors walking around on this ship.
Fair.
So if you are going to try and just sneak by and not raise any extra suspicions. Let me see here. I am going to need a cool check from you really fast.
Ooh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I help by
Straight?
distracting.
Cool check, and it is at the moment they're paying attention to you. They're not overly focused on you, so it'll be just an average check, 2 dice. If you want to try and distract them a little bit, Vialexa, you can roll something to see if you can distract them. That would then give a boost to May if
Friends
you are.
don't let friends shoot up alone.
Exactly.
So how are you trying to distract them, Vialexa?
So they seem already perturbed by us, so I'm just gonna get on some pink lipstick and just put it on in front of the mirror so that oh my god, how scandalous.
Okay. So, I will let you. Are you trying to kind of do it in a suggestive way, or are you just trying to keep attention on you?
Just trying to keep attention on me. If I have to be suggestive to do it, I will.
I will let you roll deception. And it'll be 2 purple to see if you can then give a boost to May.
Wait, actually, can I do it suggestively?
You can, and I'll switch over to
And
charm.
wink at one of the nurses as I do it.
Use those pheromones, bitch.
Yeah, no, exactly. I get a free advantage when charming against Zeltron. Success advantage. Use those Zeltron pheromones.
You have captured the attention of these nurses. There's just who the fuck is this? What's this whispering back and forth between these women, and you can scooch by May, 2 purple and a blue.
And you said cool?
Yes.
Okay. Holy!
See, you didn't even fucking need
Holy!
it.
Let's go.
I mean, I got a lot of threats, but
It's fine.
You scooch by and kind of private yourself away into a stall, and are able to take out what you bought in that back alley, and take it very quickly and very quietly. And almost immediately you feel the effects of the drug kick in. And it calms your nerves slightly. There's still this annoying little twitch of like, it's not enough. This wasn't quite strong enough. But it takes the edge off. And you make a show of pretending to use the restroom and going back out, heading towards the mirror where the nurses seem to be now trying to make their escape. Alexa having been flirtatious enough for just long enough that they're like, fucking, okay, we need to leave. Like, we need to get back to work. And a few minutes later, unless there is a interaction that Alexa and Thieves may want to do very quickly.
I mean, after the Neutron Pixie, just returning to the group. Unless...
I'm good.
So, a few minutes later, you see both of them returning, seemingly having done nothing more than fluster ? A group of nurses that you saw very quickly, like, leaving the bathroom with a purpose of putting themselves as far away from the bathroom as possible. And you all continue towards the medical floor. And, well, you're already on the medical floor, but towards the actual surgery rooms and prep rooms and such. And you see, for the first time, aside from the soldiers that you see kind of being wheeled around on gurneys and in wheelchairs and such, some other military personnel that are stationed outside of the swinging double doors into what you assume to be more of the active portion of the floor. As you approach, one of the guards just kind of lifts a hand and steps in front of the door a little bit. And he's young, and he seems very much like he does not want to do this. But he still steps in front of all of you all the same. And there's just this little, I know who all of you are. Captain told us. He is like, kind of motions vaguely towards the headset that he is wearing. But if you're wanting to get here, you have to have permission from the medical staff. And I can go ask somebody if you want to ask somebody to let you on the floor, but he just looks uncomfortable. It's just like, I don't want to be caught between this, but I'm stuck being caught between this.
If he flashes him a smile, don't worry about it. We just spoke to Dr. Phobos. She said we could go in.
And there's this, like, narrowing of his eyes and, like, confusion. She didn't say anything about that.
She was on her way to surgery. Somebody's life is on the line.
He looks towards the other guard on the other side of the door, and the other guard just shrugs slightly and starts to reach up for his headset. very clearly about to call somebody.
Ah, shit, oh, fuck. Ah, shit, oh, fuck. Fuck.
I'm not associated
We-
with this woman.
We wouldn't want to bug her while she's in surgery. Could we maybe get the head nurse out here to speak to them? If us being in there is a problem?
Two guards like look at each other again, and the first one just sighs slightly. We can try and see if she's not busy. And if she's like, she may just call you to a prep room. But we can see if she's busy or not. If you'd like to wait, you can wait in one of the surgery theaters.
I think it would be in her best interest to unbusy herself for the next few months.
Damn, girl.
We can make an appointment because we have other places we need to check anyways. If there's
We don't have time for appointments. Now is the
if
best
there
time.
is a better time,
Now is the best time, though.
There is no time
the
like
sooner
the present.
the sooner would be better.
Correct. Now.
Sooner would be better, but we're willing to work with whatever she's got available. However, we do stress it's very important, and we're trying to
Yeah.
keep more people from dying.
Correct. Do you want more dead bodies on your hands, guards? I heard that there's already a security issue. Like, are you trying to contribute to the security issue?
Sweetheart, no. We're good. I think these nice young lads, they've gotten the picture.
Yeah, they want to be helpful. They don't want more deaths on their ship, right?
Ain't
Right?
that right?
These
guys like
poor
you.
guards, they're like 20-somethings, just joined up, just got posted on what was supposed to be an easy thing. They look kind of panicked right now.
Are they Gamorreans?
No, they are not.
Oh. Okay.
And the one is human, and the other one looks like maybe a Twi'lek hybrid of some sort. There's some patchiness on his skin that suggests not full Twi'lek. But they both just like eyes wide, look very uncomfortable, and it's like very clearly like we didn't. Number one, we did not sign up for this. Number two, why did we get stuck in the middle of this? I don't know what this is. This is a lot.
It's Broad City, that's what it is.
and just I I will, yes, and
You will.
turns and starts to like lifts his hand
Good
to
boy.
the Cody.
Buddy, what's your name?
Oh, now you're asking for the name. Next, you're gonna have to speak to the manager.
He's like
If he's just very friendly.
first one that has tried to turn away is now also lifting their hand towards the headset to start trying to call somebody. It just looks slowly towards you. And just this like, my name, I am Private Strom. Private Strom. Still
Private
fumbling
Strom.
for himself.
Private Strong. Well, it's nice to meet you. My name's Iffy Fell. I'm an ambassador from Hapes. You said you already know me, and that's fine, but I wanted to make a personal introduction. That way, I have your word that you'll call us as soon as there's an opening, right?
Yes. And you see he's still kind of falling over his words. Not relaxing. I'll talk to her right now. And looks away again. It's kind of like turned sideways to all of you, because there's not any way for either of them to try and step away and have private conversation. It turns to his side and lifts a hand up to the headset, and you hear this. He like taps it and waits, and there's this like nervous like heel tapping, like nervous glance to all of you, and then taps the headset again, and you just get can this is Private Strom. Can somebody connect me through to wherever Nurse Shia is right now? And there's another long pause, and the tapping of the heel has just like quickened even faster. And all of a sudden there is a snap to attention a little bit more, back straighter. Is yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Nurse Shia, I understand. We have the people that are here about Dr. Xander. Yep, they're here. Uh-huh. Well, they want to talk to you, I think. It was like this like questioning look of like, is this correct? Like, am I saying the right things?
Nod.
Ismay will pinch his cheek.
And then there's this like short-circuiting moment, and loud enough that you can hear, even though this is an earpiece, you hear the muffled sound of somebody snapping at this private when he has been silent for a moment too long thanks to the short circuit in the brain. And he flinches at the noise and kind of shifts and shuffles away a half step away from you, out of your reach. Well, I mean, they say soon? Is soon well, we could escort them? Yes, alright. That I think will work. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And then this slow breath. But Nurse Shia is busy, but she says we can take you to where she is prepping for another surgery. She has like 3 minutes. And
Beautiful. Where are we going, soldier?
You got 3 minutes. Hop to it.
there's just like this desperate look to the Twi'lek, and the Twi'lek just sidesteps a little bit, and there's this very clear expression of like, nah, buddy, this is yours now.
2 minutes and 50 seconds. Chop chop.
And this private just nods and is like, just don't touch anything. Most of the things are sterile.
Are you
I
sterile?
I can't stop the nurses from hurting any of you if you fuck anything up. So just don't. And he turns really quickly about face and pushes the doors open and leads you through. And on the other side of these doors, you've seen the moving with the purpose. You've seen some of the back and forth of the medical floors in passing. This is the center of the chaos. It is all hands on deck. Nurses and doctors and orderlies rushing back and forth. There are dozens of soldiers that you can see on gurneys and beds around. It looks like a overcrowded ER room where you currently are, essentially. And some of the soldiers, and you realize after a few minutes, a handful of what look like civilians in plain clothes a handful of them are okay. A majority of them are pretty severely injured. There's blood and pain and just the smell of lingering explosives and fire and burn. And for the first time since you've hit the Paramount, you all are fully faced with the shit. We're over an active war zone. And
Smells like death in here.
And the guard leads you through, very purposely moving, and for those of you closest to him, you can see by the set of his shoulders and kind of the way that he is holding his head, he's trying his damnedest to not look and linger on what he is passing. And leads you through this emergency area, this intake area, and past a couple of quieter hallways and rooms that you can kind of glance through the windows as you pass, and you see that you're passing a half dozen full surgery suites, and there's people in every single one of them. Until you hit the end of the hallway, and he turns into what looks like a very large prep and supply room. And it is stock full, floor to ceiling, every single wall, with shelves of not medicines, but scrubs and gloves and medical instruments. And there's several wash basins and tubs full of chemicals and different things to clean surgical equipment. And inside you see two figures that are moving, not necessarily fast, running around, but moving with purpose. You see a fake middle-aged, maybe a little older than middle-aged, Twi'lek in a dark purple set of scrubs. And surprising to some of you, a female Wookiee, also seeming to be in a makeshift scrubs. Wookiees don't tend to wear clothes, but there's some hairnet things going on with this one. And they both kind of look up as you enter, and the Wookiee seems to be messing with a machine that none of you quite can place as to what it is, what it does. Seems to be messing with some settings on a machine and trying to do something and then getting annoyed and trying to do something again. And the Twi'lek kind of pauses as she is putting together what you realize is a sterile suit, essentially, and double checking it and running looks like UV and disinfecting machines over it before wrapping it in plastic, and kind of pauses halfway through to look over all of you and just nods slightly. I am Shia Sunfell. What do you need?
What do we need?
We need
Someone better talk soon, or else Steve may.
We'll keep this brief. Dr. Zan brought up missing supplies to you, correct? Do you know anything about that?
Well, there's rumors about Bacta going missing. I know we've been short with him coming in a couple of times. He talked to me. I don't know anything specific about it beyond it's short when it comes in, and she's continues what she's working, and she's very clearly being very curt and quick, trying to keep it going.
And this was consistently short.
Well, I mean,
Just for clarity's sake, this is the nurse, right? Not the Wookiee.
yes, this is the nurse. The Wookiee
Okay.
is very
Wookiee
clearly
can't be nurses.
Yeah, the Wookiee, whose name, because it's just throw it out there so that we have it for our clear. The head nurse's name is Shia. The Wookiee's name is Lobaka.
Lobaka.
Mm-hmm. And so Shia just kind of frowns slightly, and there's like little twitch on her face and of her head. She's clearly thinking something, but is cutting herself off from saying it. Whether it's good or bad or what, you're not quite sure.
Hey,
well,
I have something for that.
You can try.
I'd like to.
Okay.
Because we're not going to get much. Like, this is a really quick meeting. So, yeah, I'm still going to do it.
Okay. So you will take some... You know what the thing is. I forget the word for it right now.
Conflict, right?
Yes. We'll take some conflict. We'll deal with that at the end of the session. You can see that she is... let me double check this thing that I had written. Make sure it doesn't conflict with anything. Yeah. So you can see that, or like when you reach through the force and try to pick up on what she is not saying, and essentially what you're getting is a head full of very annoyed, mildly rude comments of, what the fuck does she mean pattern? What does she mean consistency? There's just like, yeah, it's happened a couple of times. Do I keep fucking pattern book of things? I don't fucking know. What is this head wanting from me right now? We're in the middle of a fucking war zone. And it's just that monologue. And you're pretty sure that her little twitch that you saw is her deciding against going on a rant. As she just like, I mean, there's been a couple of shipments every now and then. I can't say for sure if it is a full pattern of any sort. I know it's once this month, and then I know there was another shortage that was a little bit annoying about 2 months ago, but I mean, that's what I'm hearing from across the fleet right now, so.
Okay. So safe to say once a month. She kind of mutters to herself.
I mean, you can't say for sure, but can you say for not sure?
There's just this pause, and even the Wookiee kind of looks up and looks over. And there's just
Not
like,
you too.
the fuck does that mean?
Have
And
you
then
noticed
continues.
anything missing as of late?
And
Besides the Bacta.
Besides the backpack.
Which is highly intriguing, by the way.
Like, for example, people's organs.
she is like, after the like, what the fuck does that mean? She immediately went back to what she is doing, and she's ended up across the room at this point. And you just get this again, this kind of like confused look over her shoulder. Like, generally people notice when they're missing their organs. Usually that means they're dead. But
Do the dead notice those things?
I elbowed Casement.
Oh.
And there's this, the nurse pauses for a second, looks at Thesme, sees you elbow her, and then looks between Kana and Iffy. I think she might need to leave.
Ismay, ain't there don't you gotta go see a man about some cake?
Where? Serious question. Where did the soldier that led them here? Where did he go?
He is right outside the door. He essentially led you there and has been tasked to lead you back.
Great.
So he's
So these
outside.
guys gonna step right outside the door and immediately start flirting with said soldier.
This poor boy.
That poor boy.
The reason we're asking is because it seems like a lot of stuff has been going missing, and we found a couple notices saying giving out prices for organs. So, as head nurse, you wouldn't know if there was anything major that was being handled.
She just kind of pulls this box off the shelf and is moving over, and you see that she's now putting together some kits of or at least seemingly sets to then be disinfected of various surgery tools, forceps and scissors and things like that. And she's making these like about 8-9 piles, working on them. And there's this little twist of her mouth that she is now seemingly paying a little bit more attention to the conversation. And I will say you can make an opposed charm or negotiation to see if she's going to be forthcoming with you.
Negotiation, you say?
No, well, this has to be via Alexa because she asked the question.
There.
Charm.
Charm. So that'll be 2 purple and a red that you're rolling against.
Mind if I use a force point here to
Go for it.
Downgrade it.
downgrade it to a purple, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 purple. And I get an advantage because I'm Zeltron. But I can't just add that, so. Ugh.
Her eyes
My time.
just narrow slightly. This like twist of her mouth. And she just kind of shakes her head slightly. Like, all the ones that we are directly assigned and that we pick up that comes through the chain of command, I can promise you none of them go missing. As far as what we get in from what happens here, everything that I know of has been everything that I know of has remained exactly where it's supposed to be.
Huh.
So, above the table here, that's a lie, isn't it? Because, like, just to the rest of the group, because didn't we have confirmation that the documents weren't lining up?
Somebody's lying.
Like what was ordered and what they were receiving, essentially.
I think so, yeah. I think you're right about that. That, like, the shipping manifests weren't matching up.
Yeah.
But it was clarified earlier that like there could have been someone that's not medical staff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could have been that the transporters were the one that was
Yeah.
bringing things in.
There's no guaranteeing, at least as far as all of you know right now, of yes, you have found that there is discrepancies, but you don't know where the discrepancies are necessarily occurring. So like you don't know who is being able to see what. Without being able to pull back really far and like lay everything out on the table.
Okay.
So there's no hard proof that she would have a knowledge of like what was supposed to come in that was not coming in. She might just be getting the, this is what was brought in from a transporter that has already swapped things around.
And we already know that the transporters aren't usually the same. It's just whoever randomly, correct?
There is a handful of pilots that are assigned to the frigate that move essentially the ambulances and can help with cargo. And then there's also a depending on where they are, outside pilots that come in for cargo or volunteer to help with moving patients. But there is a small fleet of about 20 or so pilots that essentially run the ambulances, or the equivalent of the ambulances, from surface to frigate and back, that can help with cargo.
Do we have any questions? Because I can't, like, my brain's not working right now.
I will pull up. I will zoom in on the photo. Hella zoom in, such that the others aren't.
Sorry. These may have questions for said soldier, but otherwise, continue.
We'll circle to the soldier after we're done with the nurse.
Yes, exactly.
I will just zoom in on the photo of the redheaded woman and show that, and ask if she recognizes that woman.
She just kind of squints from across the room, frowns slightly. That looks like Koss, I think.
Koss?
T something. I don't fucking know her last name. She runs one of the ships sometimes, but as far as I'm aware, this is a home planet for her, so she's down on the surface.
Huh. Well, thank you for letting us know.
And she nods and looks over the group. Anything else? I got 2 organ replacements that are coming right now.
I got nothing. Does anybody else?
Just
No.
She is the one who orders the supplies, right? She, the cook,
Mm-hmm.
and then the captain also orders some supplies, correct?
Yeah, the captain orders some supplies regarding, or signs off on supplies regarding military. The cook does most of the military stuff and all of the food and, need to survive basic necessities of the ship. And then she orders all of the medical supplies. However, ordering medical supplies and getting what you order are 2 different things in the middle of the war.
infiltrating.
Okay. I can't really think of anything. I just think maybe we already have the orders that we can or the manifest essentially, so.
Yes. Okay. All right, Cody, what are you torturing this poor soldier with?
I mean, she's gonna start off very coy, like, where have you been, soldier? And like caressing said cheek during questioning.
He just is trying very, very hard to stay professional. He's like leaning away from you slightly, like a blaster rifle, like clutched very close to his chest, and is like still pointed, angled at the ground, so he's not being threatening at all. Just, I have been assigned to this. Is there something I can help you with, ma'am?
I mean,
Wrong
I'm sure
question.
there's lots of things you can help me with, but I'm curious. Like, where have you been these last few days, soldier?
At my post? Outside those doors. And he points back down the ER ward to the doors that you came through.
And you've not seen, I mean, anyone besides us, unconventional?
I don't know what that means.
I mean, has anyone been coming or going that has otherwise been not typical or usual?
Here in the not on this floor. It's the nurses and the doctors and the orderlies and the patients. I mean, I don't know the patients, but the patients, they're usually covered in blood. So,
Fair. How has Dr. Xander seemed these last, I don't know, few days?
stressed.
And that's it. Like stressed the same way as like Dr. Phobos, or stressed in a different way?
I don't know what that means. He's continuing to get more and more uncomfortable, and you're very quickly clicking in that he is really a dumb kid. He's just a dumb kid that signed up for there's not a overly observant bone in this kid's body.
Ismay will kiss his cheek and like slightly caress his chest and say, "Oh, thank you, soldier. I hope that we can continue to communicate in the future."
Huh. You just get this like little like almost whine sound, not knowing what to do with this. And right about then is when Nurse Shia would be like, if that's all any of you need, I need to go. And just like motions for the door for all of you to leave. And looks towards the Wookiee and just waves her along, and the Wookiee just like in annoyance smacks the top of the machine she's working on with a fist, and you hear just like a random beep or two from this machine, and she grabs another one that's almost identical and starts rolling it out of the And the soldier, as soon as all of you leave the prep room, escorts you back through the ER and the incoming triage area and back out the doors, and immediately moves over to his post. And there's like, you can see the curious look on the other guard's face as he's looking over. Doesn't say anything. But then you see like a slowly raised eyebrow, because even though he has only walked through the medical floor and back, this private looks like he's run a marathon. He is that uncomfortable and that stressed.
This poor man.
I mean, Ismay is talented when it comes to de-stressing, so...
So, I will say, I think we're running on last 2% of brain power collectively here. We're just about on empty from what it sounded like.
We're getting there, boss.
So, I think here, because you've just wrapped up with one of these people, would be a good place to end it.
That makes sense to me.
And we will pick it up next time. Let's see.
We're cooking the captive next time.